Hey guys, my name is Katya. I'm a graphic designer and a Procreate brush creator from Belarus. In this video, I want to demonstrate my new Procreate marker brushes and to show some tips and tricks that I use in my illustrations. Let's go! The set consists of 7 brushes, and believe me, that's all you need. So let's start with the broad tip brush. It corresponds to such a beveled flat tip or chisel. The broad tip brush, like all the brushes in the set, is pressure sensitive. The harder you press, the darker the trail it leaves. Light areas are obtained with lighter pressure. Those things that seem imperfect on paper will make your digital illustration look as real as possible. For example, when drawing a line with a marker, there can be dark areas at the beginning and at the end of the stroke. You can imitate this by pressing hard and lingering at the edges of the stroke and making a lighter pressure in the middle. Interesting thing, guys, this is an A4 paper. In relation to this size, the line has a certain thickness. So when the broad tip brush size is set to 50%, the line thickness will correspond to the real one and will be proportional to the canvas size. But of course, you can set a larger or smaller brush size. When we draw a horizontal line with a chisel and then without turning the hand draw a vertical line, we get such a thin line. The same with the broad tip brush. Without turning the hand, the vertical line is thin. But if we turn the hand, then the vertical line is the same as the horizontal one. The same here. We turn the hand and get the same line. Drawing with a chisel, we can leave a lighter edge, then the line will be ragged. The broad tip grunge brush is responsible for this effect. The edge turns out to be very graphic. This brush is pressure sensitive too. Strong pressure leaves a dark trail, light pressure leaves a ragged trail. I really love this brush because playing with the pressure, you can get completely different strokes. Markers can also have such a tapered brush tip. This tip corresponds to the brush number 1. Don't forget that you can leave this dark edge just like we did with the broad tip brush before. Like the previous brushes, brush number 1 is pressure sensitive. Strong pressure, light pressure, strong, light. Play with the pressure to achieve strokes like this. With the brush tip, you can also make this kind of strokes. It is convenient to draw tree foliage this way. Brush number 1 can also be used to make these strokes. But if you paint with the edge of the brush tip, the line comes out a bit different. The brush number 2 is responsible for this. You can leave points with strong pressure at the beginning and at the end of the stroke to make the line more playful. The next brush is Diane brush. I don't have such a marker, so I will show the brush without an example. This brush leaves such a stroke as if your marker is almost out of ink or dry. Markers can also have such a round tip. This marker corresponds to the fine tip brush. As you already understood, by varying the pressure, we can make the line darker or lighter. And the last brush, which is actually not really a brush, is Blender. I'll explain how it works. When we draw two strokes side by side, there is no transition between two colors. But when we apply a stroke on a still wet stroke, the transition between two colors becomes smoother. Just compare. There is no transition and there is smooth transition. So let's do the same on the iPad. In order to smooth this transition, click on the Blend tool, choose Blender brush and blend it. You can use all the previous brushes without the canvas that comes with the kit, but you should use Blender only on the canvas. The canvas contains the group of layers with textures, and when you turn off the texture layers, the area where we used Blender becomes blurred. So use Blender only with enabled layers. That's it, guys! You can buy this set of marker brushes for Procreate on the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Create with pleasure.